So this is definitely going to be a video that I don't usually make, but this was a topic that I've just been wanting to talk about for the last couple of weeks. Plus, Squid Game is still surprisingly popular even almost a month after it's come out. But that aside, Squid Game, it's really good, very easily my favorite TV series I've watched in a while, especially coming from Netflix of all places. Who knew that the same people that paid for fucking Cuties and Cube Force on their platform would have also paid for one of the best TV series of this year? If you haven't seen the show yet, don't worry, I'm gonna leave spoilers out of this video aside from the basic concept of the show that you'd get from the trailer. But if you've been living under a rock the last month, Squid Game is basically about these people who are competing for money, and if they lose they die. And unsurprisingly, it's been under fire in the political news media the last few weeks. Basically, people are saying that the show is too violent and Netflix needs to do a better job of keeping kids from viewing it. So, funny story about how I found this article. So, my neighbor that I work for was talking to me about the show because she thought I had heard of it and told me that it was bad because it was too violent. I'm not fucking kidding. And she sent me this article, I guess, to prove her point that it was too violent for kids to be watching. Like, no shit. So this article is just so stupid. They basically say that Netflix is to blame for kids being exposed to the show rather than the actual parents letting their kids watch the show. But enough talking, let's read the article. Squid Game might be a huge success for Netflix given the fact that it shot up to the #1 spot on the US streaming platform in just 4 days after its release. However, the series has also drawn criticism for its violence, and one organization is cautioning parents to be on high alert in case their children find themselves pursuing their feeds and pressing play. And there's already an issue here. Criticism for its violence. Why are we criticizing a show for being too violent? That's fucking stupid. That's like criticizing artwork for having nudity. Hell, fucking games like Red Dead 2 and The Last of Us 2 are literal fucking murder simulators. Violence in media is nothing new. Hell, I'd go as far to say that Squid Game is actually more tame than some of the other violent things I've seen. Even this year, have you seen the new Suicide Squad movie? There's fucking people getting ripped in half by a human shark monster. And you might be saying, well, the violence is pointless. It doesn't add to the quality of the film or show or game. Actually, it kind of does. Squid Game's tone is extremely grounded. You have people dying of cancer, people down on money, people betraying each other, and obviously people being killed for losing a game. The violence of Squid Game adds to the grounded tone the show has. The Parents Television and Media Council told Fox News that it's hoping to alert parents to the bevy of Squid Game inspired content being uploaded across various media, so they can take appropriate measures, whether by applying parental controls or more closely supervising their children on social media and gaming platforms where content about or inspired by the series is being shared. So obviously they're talking about the huge amount of attention Squid Game has on TikTok and YouTube, with it getting a massive amount of people watching the show, which is fair. There are probably some young kids that got into the show from TikTok and YouTube. But my question is, why are you letting your young kids on TikTok and YouTube? Both of those sites are meant for people 13 years and up, and for YouTube at least, there's a kids app for anyone younger that they won't see anything that has to do with Squid Game. See, this is the fault of awful parenting. Some parents today expect social media apps like YouTube and TikTok to do their parenting for them. And the funniest part is they act surprised when their kid is now traumatized from watching someone's head get blown off in Squid Game. I'm not saying people should be monitoring their kids every second up until they're 18, but at the very least, if your kid is fucking 8 and they're on sites like YouTube and TikTok, the same place where there are these batshit crazy vegans, and then they're getting into Squid Game from that, I think Squid Game is the least of your problem. In an op-ed published on the organization's website Wednesday, the PTC's program director, Melissa Henson, wrote that despite the mature rating being attached to the incredibly violent show, an even greater concern is the way Squid Game is being promoted to viewers too young to watch the TVMA-rated series on social media platforms. It's not being promoted to people too young, it's being put on TikTok and YouTube, which is a platform for people 13 and up. The thing about these platforms is that they have algorithms that recommend people what they have been shown to like in the past. So if shit like Squid Game is coming up in your 13 to 14-year-old kids YouTube recommended list, which is the main way that people will find videos, it probably means that this isn't the first time they've seen anything like this. And you might be saying, what about the content creators that these kids watch promoting Squid Game? I'll agree, that's extremely fucked up, but that's the content creators' fault, not the shows. From what I've seen, Squid Game isn't sponsoring any creators, so they have nothing to do with people promoting the show to kids. And what's really funny about all of this is that Netflix has a kids mode for this exact fucking reason, so if you aren't comfortable with your child watching shit like Squid Game, then you put them on the kids mode. And you might be saying, well, what if the parent is away and the kid goes to normal Netflix? Then that's the parent's fault for letting their child use Netflix without their supervision. You would think it takes a 50 50-plus-year-old boomer with several kids that are already adults to teach people how to parent their child, but no, this is coming from a 16-year-old sophomore in high school who happens to enjoy laughing at insanely stupid people. Netflix should be acting as a gatekeeper to ensure that content that is harmful to minors is not being distributed on their platform, she told Fox News, and that also includes highly sexualized content like Big Mouth and content that might inspire self-harm like 13 Reasons Why. And they literally do. There is a kids mode for a reason. I love how they leave that part out to push their bullshit narrative. Then there's a part that's basically just a description of the show, which I've already said, so I'm leaving it out. The Squid Game hashtag has been viewed more than 22 billion times on TikTok according to an NBC News report, and Henson maintained that minors including young teens and tweens are watching the series through online gaming platforms like Roblox and Minecraft. So this is the only part of the article that I think is decently fair. Roblox and Minecraft have audiences that are heavily centered around kids, and the fact that they're putting things like Squid Game up on Roblox is kinda fucked up. But like I said before with the content creators on YouTube and TikTok, that is not the show's fault. The showrunners can't control who and who doesn't promote their show. It's the creator of those minigames and videos that should be under fire, not the show. For example, take this article. If some mentally unhinged person reads this article and decides to go out and shoot up the studio that made Squid Game and kill all the writers and actors, you wouldn't be blaming the fucking writer of this article for that. According to Fortune, Squid Game catapulted to #1 in the US just 4 days after its release. It's expected to be seen by more than 82 million subscribers worldwide in its first 28 days. The outlet notes that when compared to traditional TV, that's more than the number of 18 to 49-year-olds estimated by Nielsen to have watched the 40 highest rated broadcast and cable shows of the past year combined. So they're implying that anyone who is under 18 and watching Squid Game shouldn't be watching it since it's rated TVMA. And here's the other thing I hate about parents nowadays. The helicopter parents who see a show that's rated 18 plus and immediately freak out if they find out that their 16-year-old kid is watching it. Dude, if your kid is legally old enough to drive, if your kid is legally old enough to have sex, I think your kid can see a little bit of blood on the screen if they want to. I mean, I kind of get it. It's better to be safe than sorry, but when you're so in over your head that you're freaking out when your 15 to 17-year-old kid is just seeing a little bit of blood on screen, you're just setting them up for failure in the real world. Netflix needs to recognize that if it fails to self-regulate, it is inviting regulation from government policies, and that may lead to worse outcomes for Netflix and for families, Henson said. Once again, they're doing pretty much everything they can to keep kids from watching mature content. The show is even rated TVMA. If we were in some weird dystopian society where the showrunners themselves were advertising this to young kids, yeah, this article would make perfect sense. But they're taking so much shit out of context. Anyways, that was my rant for the day. This video is probably gonna perform like shit because I never talk about this stuff, but hey, who the fuck cares? Anyways, like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.
What are you going to do?